First time being live on this channel, and just waiting to see those who are going to come in on this one. Just wanted to have a little chat, one-on-one with my people out there. I hope you all can hear me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you're on with me at the moment. Okay, still waiting for people to jump in. Raconteur Mark here. If you can hear me, just let me know you can hear me. African tales are pretty much nice and interesting to listen to when you're really deeply into them. So you can get a lot of the magical feel from African tales. You can also get a bit of entertainment, get moral lessons and all from African tales. You know, the thing with the Africans is that a lot of the things that Africans, especially Africans back then, whatever they cannot explain, especially natural phenomena like thunder, rainfall, sunshine, uh, the law of gravity, um, why the oceans are so vast and so on. Since they do not have any technological or scientific proof or evidence to explain this to the listeners, they would explain them off with folk tales. So you could hear folk tales about the creation of the earth, like with the story of Obatala and so on. The reason why people have different opinions, why people make judgments based on certain opinions using the story of Ishu and so on. The reason why the winds are so fierce sometimes, and at other times easygoing, with the story of Oya and the rest. So African mates, stuff that you really need to take a look at. So for me, I'm interested in African myths. I'm interested in the storytelling part of African myths. And as it goes, African myths are also embellished with lots of religious inculcations, culture. You know, religion has always been a part of the African society. So Africans have a very huge place for religion, you know. So that's it. I don't know if anyone's live right now. Still waiting to see if anyone can join in. Yeah, so currently on the channel we have a couple of videos out. The last video I dropped was the legend of Oya, Orisha Oya. If you haven't checked that one out, you can go check it out. And then we're having another video coming up this week. We might likely drop something on the origin of the story of the creation of the earth from the Egyptian perspective. Now we're going a bit into Egyptian mythology. Then after that, we might look at another story from one of the Orishas here in Nigeria. So that's it. If you're live with me, you could just drop a comment here so I can get to see you. So like I was saying earlier, African tales are interesting and nice to tell. I really love African tales, not just because I'm from Africa, but African tales are entertaining. They carry a lot of moral lessons, and then they take your mind far away from all of the stress that goes on around you. So it makes you unwind pretty much. Well, now there are people out there who like to go into storytelling. Now, going into storytelling with Africa or African story telling is we need you to do a lot of research. You have to start researching and read, get to know about tales from Africa. So you can get all kinds of tales from Africa, tales that will bring entertainment, that will bring the religious insights to you, and so on. So really nice being here on a live. All right, so this is a test run of my live session. I'm going to be going off uh, shortly. Hopefully, in subsequent times, we're going to be doing more of these lives. We're going to be doing more of these lives subsequently. But for now, let's just we're going to see how this goes. All right, so if you have a question, you could just pop it up in the comment section so I can give you a response. Still over Mark here. Yes, yo, Raconteur Mark here. If you have a question for me, you can post it so I can see and get to give you a response. Yeah, so we can see on the chart here, Ruben Benson. Ruben, you're welcome to the chart. Ruben, could you just do us a favor? Tell us where you're from so we could highlight you for a while. Yeah, Ruben, are you there? Let me see your comments. Just tell me where you're from. Oh, Ruben, you're from Nigeria. That's nice to know. So I'm currently in Lagos. Where are you in Nigeria? Yeah, Ruben, are you still there? So where in Nigeria are you from? Okay, you're watching me from Abuja. That's nice. Nice to know that someone's watching from the northern part of the country. So I was in Abuja many, many years ago. In fact, the last time I've been to Abuja, I can't even count. That's donkey years back, uh, 20 years or more back. It was great. And then at that time, Abuja wasn't so developed, but right now, Abuja is a mega city. You know, uh, So, Ruben, thank you for being live with me here today, Raconteur Mark. Ruben, I would like to ask you a question. Have you seen any of my stories on YouTube? Oh, okay. So I guess it's your first time here, Ruben. So what you're gonna do for us, Ruben? I would like you maybe after this live, uh, go to the channel, subscribe, like our videos, and watch. All right. So this channel, it's all about African tales, African folk tales, African mythology. Oh, Ruben, you're welcome. Thank you for giving me your time today. So, into African tales, African mythology, African religion, you know. Currently, we're working on stories from the Nigerian background, Yoruba background. We've talked about Hausa stories, a few of them, and then within this week and maybe next week, we're going to be looking at stories from other places. Yeah, so Ruben, nice to have you here. So Ruben, tell me, how's Abuja going there today? How's the weather like? It's a bit cloudy here in Lagos. Okay, I guess Ruben is saying awesome. Okay, weather is awesome. All right, so I believe Abuja is hot most of the time. The weather there hot most of the time because it's kind of is it close to the desert or something? I really don't know, but maybe you can educate me on that one. Okay, don't know if Ruben is still in the building. However, nice having Ruben on. So, like you said earlier, this is just a maiden edition of going live with the Raconteur channel. We're going offline shortly, and then subsequently, we're going to be doing lives like this so we can interact with our fans out there. From what I've seen from the analytics, we have lots of people viewing us from the United States of America, some from Ghana, some from South Africa, some from Jamaica. But what I understand about the American fans is that we are 6 hours ahead of them. So currently now it's somewhere around past 4. So it should be somewhere around um, the late hours of the morning over there in the United States. For South Africa, I think they are 1 hour ahead of us, or we are 1 hour ahead of them, something like that. Um, so I'm feeling pretty pumped up about our channel here and the work we're doing and the response we're getting from people. Nigerians, I must confess, Nigerians haven't really paid too much attention to the work we're doing, but Nigerians are trying. So they're the second best audience we have for our channel right here. So it's a pretty young channel. We just started about 4 weeks ago. and we're hoping to grow it to a bigger level. So we'll call on people out there, friends, go get your friends, tune on to Raconteur Mark. This is a channel you need to stay glued to. Here on Raconteur Mark, you're going to be getting educational tips, you're going to be getting historical tips, you're going to be getting stories from way back. So it's more like an educational channel and also an entertaining channel. You're also going to be seeing stories from different parts of Africa, from South Africa. That reminds me, we have a story on Shaka the Zulu coming up pretty soon. You know, we're going to be talking about the life history of Shaka. So Shaka let me not give you spoilers yet, but Shaka is of South African origin from the Zulu tribe, and we're going to be working on his famous story. After that, we're also going to be dropping another story about the creation myth, the creation stories, the myth from Egypt. We're going to be looking at that. And then other stories from Africa. We're going to be looking at a very, very important story that's coming up, Issue and the Two Friends. I'm working on that now. I'm going to be posting that sometime maybe next week. You should watch out for it. Lots of lessons to learn from that myth. So Ruben, if you're still here, just drop a comment here. Let me know if you're still around. Just type still here. Let me get to see. Yeah. While I wait for Ruben to drop a comment. So storytelling is one of those things that I've loved right from time. It's one of my talents too, being able to tell stories and even to write stories. So I just grew up learning that I was more into the arts, so I could tell stories a lot. And I get captivated when I tell stories. And then I got to understand that people get captivated when I tell them my stories. So it's nice relating to stories, not just some fictional stories, but stories that have some historical, religious, and cultural backgrounds or inclinations to the people you're telling these stories to. All right, guys, I don't know if Ruben is still there. So Ruben is my only guest for now, hoping that more people will join in. Excuse me. All right, guys, you got to excuse me. Let me go shut my windows. Lots of generators, sounds coming in from outside. You know how it is here in Lagos, and the NEPA situation. I'll be right back. Give me a minute. All right, I'm back. African Tales. Yeah, so on the channel, we've looked at a couple of African stories, majorly about African, especially Yoruba mythology. So we've looked at the story of Orisha Ogun, right? And how he paved the way for advancement and development and improvement to society, how he was given a special task by Olodumare to come clear of the dense forest in the society that prevented people from doing their everyday tasks. And in those forests, and even up till this very day, spirits are known to inhabit forests and uninhabited places. So back then, according to the myth, there were so many malevolent and benevolent spirits in those forests that prevented the dwellers or inhabitants of the earth to make advancement. So, or Orisha Ogun was given the special duty, the special task to come clear off the forest. And while doing that, he also had to contend with the spirits that were heralding or that were marshalling those forests. So he wasn't alone. He was joined by other Orishas like Orisha Oshun. He was also joined by Orisha Shongo. He was joined by Orisha Obatala. And together, they were able to clear off the dense forest that inhabited the earth. While Ogun was clearing off, Oshun was blessing the land with her sacred waters. And then Oshun was, Obatala was also in the scene and he was proclaiming tranquility. And then Shongo was behind the scene, spirits with his thunder and lightning. So that's one interesting story that we've covered on the channel. You might want to go check it out if you haven't seen that. And then there was also the story of Orisha Oshun. Orisha Oshun is the deity of the waters. Up to this very day, some people still worship Orisha Oshun. You know, uh, up if you go to the diaspora, you find a lot of Oshun worshippers there. So for us here on the channel, we're not so concerned about the religious aspect of these myths. Our aim here is not to uh, push the religious sides of these stories, but to push the entertaining and the educational aspects of these stories, because these stories are part of our culture. They're stories that have been there for a long time, and a whole lot of people really don't know about these stories. And I felt that it would be okay for people to get educated about some of these stories in our cultural background. Okay, so we've been covering Yoruba mythology for some time now. It to get to a point. Okay, so okay, Ruben said he's having network issues. All right, no problem. I understand absolutely, Ruben. Anytime the network allows you, you can always be around. And even after this live, I'm going to be posting this. You could just go up to the channel and get a review and catch up whatever you missed. So I was talking about some of the stories that we've covered on the channel. We've looked at the story of Ogun, uh, also known as the god of war and the god of iron and the god of craftsmanship. So Ogun was the Orisha that introduced iron into society according to Yoruba mythology, introduced the use of iron, the use of tools for farming, for fishing, and with the help of Ogun, the thick forest that inhabited the earth was cleared off, you know, with the help of other Orishas. So we've also looked at the story of Oshun. Oshun is the goddess of beauty, sometimes the goddess of sexuality, uh, intoxication with sexuality. So Ogun has more of this cool side. Now, so like I said earlier, our channel here is not to push the religious aspect of these stories or the people that believe in them, but just to educate fans out there about the reality of these stories. These stories have actually been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. So these stories are more of oral traditions. So oral traditions are stories that have been transferred orally from generation to generation. Now, some of these stories, major parts of these stories are fictional. They may have some elements of truth, they may not. You know, back then, our ancestors, uh, phenomena that they could not understand, what they did then was make up stories to explain all of these stories. For instance, how the earth came into existence. Uh, no one actually knows. So back then, our fathers didn't really know how the earth was created. So they formulated stories to represent or interpret this reality. Talk about the vastness of the ocean, for instance. To explain how the ocean came into existence, they would use the story of Ulukun to explain all of that. And then talking about how iron ore gets formed in the soil and how it is drilled and extracted and all that. They couldn't explain all that. So the best story to use to explain that was through the story of Ogun. Now, while some people believe that myths are fictional, there are a whole lot of other people who believe that some of these stories are true. So there are people who worship Ogun up to this very day. There are people who worship Orisha Oshun up till this very day. But just like I said, our stories here on the channel were concentrated mostly on the educational and entertainment part of these stories only, and not really encouraging people to go into religion. So you're free to pick whatever religion you want to go into out there, but that's not our focus with this channel. Okay, so we've also looked at stories about Orisha Oya. So Oya is the storm goddess, something like a a civilized version or a modern version of Orisha Oya would be what we know as Storm. When we watch our movies, the Avenger movies and the rest, the character known as Storm. So that's like an opposite of Orisha Oya here in the Yoruba mythology. Okay, so Orisha Oya is the goddess of the storm. She uses the winds and the storms to her advantage. So there are so many myths about her, how she saves the people using storms. I've covered a video on her on the channel, so you could go check it out. So we also have another one on Shango. So Shango is the god, according to Yoruba mythology, the god of thunder and lightning. So the oversea counterpart of Shango would be Thor. So many characteristics, uh, similarities in the characteristics of these two characters. A lot of people have said that the character of Thor was crafted or copied or stolen or invented or created or copied from Shango. Depends on which side, what you want to believe on that. So many similarities between these two characters, but Shango uses thunder and lightning to his advantage. Uh, from my study, I found out that Shango and Ogun, these two orishas, are the arch rivals of each other. Arch rivals not in negative terms, but in terms of comparison. Both are gods of war. While Shango is the irrational one, Ogun is more of the rational one. So Ogun has more control over his powers and abilities. He's able to think and make rational decisions. But Shango, on the other hand, once he gets angry and the rage comes over him, he takes decisions without caring the implication. So, from the story of Shango, we're told that there was one time he had arguments with his generals, and some other versions of the story say that he had argument with his family members. Immediately, rage took over him, and what did he do? He called on his uh, powers, which is lightning and storm. Sorry, lightning and thunder. So lightning came down and struck his own palace, his very own palace, and burnt it down from top to bottom to the scratch. And in the process, some of his loved ones could have lost their lives and valuable properties. Now, Shango, struck down by remorse, you know, he decided to pack and leave. He wasn't happy with his own decision. So he packed, left, and started roaming around. That was the life he now settled down with. He roamed around for a long time until he could no longer roam any longer. And legend has it that he either died along the way or he transformed into a divine being and he was taken into the heavenlies. So from that time on, he became the Orisha of thunder and lightning. All right, guys. So we said we're going to be going off shortly. So we might really go off in a few minutes from now. We're going to be having another live subsequently. So we're going to be having another live subsequently. This is almost 30 minutes now. Okay, 30 minutes on the dot. So guys, for every one of you who join in on this live, thank you very much. I'm going to be holding another live session. I'm going to be giving you some more African stories and lessons, pretty much here on our live, and even on our video section. We're also going to be giving more stories, and also with our shorts, and even in our community. So guys, please, if you're new here, if you're watching now, nice. But if you're not, if you're going to be watching this later, please subscribe to the channel, like our content, drop your comments in the comment section below. All right, this helps the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to a whole lot more people. uh, let us grow this channel, guys. Let's grow it to a good number, and I promise you guys that you're going to be having interesting stories back to back on this channel, both entertaining and educational videos, maybe a little bit of spiritual, religious videos too. But we're going to be giving you guys all of that here on the channel. Raconteur Mark here. Thank you guys for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, be good, stay good, and have fun. Bye bye. Let's bring this to an end.